Wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Welcome to another R2F show. We've been absent for a little while, so inshallah, we can we're jumping back on for tonight's show, which is going to be about a few things. The main topic is going to be like cult loyalty, how cults and leaving cults and mess with families, friends, and how misguided loyalties and these sorts of things, and just some other related topics that may come up related to that. Let's see. Mubarak just went horizontal on us. Can we?
Horizontal.
And he's still muted. Wait, if we do this. Wait, that's not good. Nope, that don't work.
Okay. I'm muted. Can you hear me now?
There we go. That works.
Yeah, cliche.
All right.
Let me see what's going on.
So yeah, I mean, we're gonna have an open conversation. If you guys want to chime in, ask questions, again, we have the chats open. Go ahead and type in the chats. And we're just gonna go ahead and get started and just talk about it. And what this kind of brought this on, and I'll kind of open it up, is the cults. You have a dynamic where you have a people that leave the cult. And of course, it's very rare for everybody to leave at the same time, right? So when someone leaves the cult, they'll have, whether it's family, friends, children, spouses that are still stuck in the cult mindset. And we've talked a lot about how like cults react to people leaving or whatever. And we've talked about how different people react that are inside the cult. But a lot of times the actual experiences that people go through dealing with the people that should be the closest to them, that should be the most loyal to them, how they actually react to these situations. And it plays out in a number of different ways. I'll just talk real briefly about like my situation, just like with my family members. And I won't mention their names, but I mean, everybody knows who they are. But even with my brothers, it was a weird dynamic after I left the cult. And to the point where I had to tell my brothers, and it kind of upset them. I was like, I can't trust y'all. And the reason why I had to say that to them is because even after I left the cult, even after the cult attacked me, attacked my family, attacked their nieces and nephews and all these different things, they were still going to like basketball tournaments, befriending these people, hanging out with these people. And from the aspect of being a family member, or like you're supposed to be my brother, we're supposed to be not only brothers in Islam, like we're brothers by blood, and you're showing more loyalty to these people than you are showing to me. And it's not even a situation where like I'm the one in the wrong. Like you openly acknowledge that what they did and what they're doing is wrong, but you still find it okay to go and intermingle and be cool with these people. And me, I'm not a person that functions like that whatsoever, and we see it play out in different forms. Just like recently, like people bend over backwards, sell their brothers down the stream, brothers, fathers, mothers, children, whatever, just to even like playing a basketball tournament. Like, really? Is it that important to you? It's really sad. It's just, it kind of upsets me for the other people as well, seeing them like, okay, these people are the ones supposed to be protecting you. And in fact, you probably protected them a lot, went to bat for them, and they just disown you just for these like really social interactions.
Yeah. And I can remember if I can just say add to that. I can remember being I remember when I had mentally and spiritually left the Jamaat, like I was out. But I do remember kind of being trying to get at least go back to the land and trying to still hang out with the boys. And basketball was a big thing, like coming up and still playing basketball. Like I was like, clearly everybody kind of knew, okay, this dude is like out of it, but I was
Yeah.
still kind of like hanging on to not literally just very clearly telling them how much I was out of it, because I still wanted to play basketball. I still wanted to play sports and do those things. So I understand how I understand the feeling that a person might
Yeah.
get for so it's not like we you know we act like it's coming from nowhere. There, I know where the place that they're coming from. At least the urge to want to still, play sports and things with people that you grew up playing sports with,
Yeah.
and people that you love. It's understandable.
Yeah, I get it too. Especially when you're in that competitive phase of your life. But I mean, and it's kind of just shows how like even when you're being like raised in a cult, how it takes away stuff that in normal situations how a person would act. Like I don't know of anybody. There's not many families in cults that actually have that like ride or die family loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of very rare to see, and once you do see it, like you do see it, and it stands out. But a lot of people will like they will disown their own blood just to be like when they don't even have to, just to like even show out
For no
or
reason.
to gain a position of status within the cult.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it's funny how like a lot of these people they don't even recognize how they're being like used. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, the only reason why like they accepted you or let you come back to the Jama or come to the basketball tournament was simply because it was throwing it in the face of someone who's like spoke out against them.
Mm-hmm.
Like simple as that. You know what I mean? Like and they think like, oh yeah, they're welcome me back. Like they love me. Like no, they're actually using you. Like you're a tool. You know?
And it's like it's a cross section between two things. It's the cult, the cult issue on the one hand, and the other issue is that we have a lot of in the African American community, but people in African Americans, and sometimes we can be very quick um, to jump ship or to not stay loyal. One thing that I have noticed with because majority of friends of mine now are not African American. There are of all these different other ethnicities that you see people come from the Muslim countries, and so I would say actually the majority are African American, but like I would say 40% of the
Yeah.
people like my friends are probably, and then the other 60% are spread out amongst different ethnicities. So you might have 20% Pakistanis, 20% Somalis, or whatever, sprinkled out like that. But what I have
Mm-hmm.
noticed in all of these other ethnic groups is it is basically, unless it's something absolutely egregious, and you only find this really in the very very religious amongst them, but for the most
Mhm.
part it's tribe, it's ethnicity, it is
Mhm.
country, it is where they're from, their people over everything else that comes before just some like group cult or whatever. So they might be
Yeah.
in a cult, or they might butt heads, ideologically, as far as Islam is concerned. But they'll come together and start a business. They'll come together, or
Mm-hmm.
they will
Yeah.
stay together. They'll be at each other's weddings. They will. They still are going to stick together. You'll have. I'm not saying that this is good, but I'm saying you might have some Somalis who, some of them, don't wear hijab, and they're doing all types of, tabarruj and all this other stuff. And then you'll have one in full hijab, abaya, niqab, or whatever it might be, and they are, when there's a business at hand, when there's taking care of family or building the community or working together, they don't even bat an eye, and they're
Yeah.
never going to sell their brother or their sister down the road for anything. They
Mhm.
might reprimand them about Islam, they might disagree, but they're not going to do that. For whatever reason, I find that people of African descent in America they can very quickly cut ties with people they have grown up with their whole life. They can very
Yeah.
quickly be like, yeah, he's off the manhaj. He's out of here. You have to see it in the Salafi community, right? This person, we've warned against this person. Don't talk to him. Don't,
Yeah.
nobody else does that to the degree that we do it. So we have the cult aspect on one hand. Then we have the other extreme of just being black people that also exacerbate this junk where, like you said, you'll have people that will alienate their family. They'll leave
Mhm.
everything just so that the group can see them as down, can see them as um, as loyal. They
Yeah.
put loyalty to the group, to the cult, far above loyalty to family, loyalty to friends, loyalty to group, tribe, clan, whatever. That's secondary, and they will burn all their bridges. They will be
Mhm.
the only member of their actually blood family in the cult, and they will take it as a source of pride. I abandoned my family for the cult. Where everyone else, no, not for the cult. They might be in a cult too. They might be in some extreme
Yeah.
joint, but they're not going to abandon their family. Never.
Yeah. It's really sad. And and the African American like negativity probably does play a lot into it. But it's to me it's kind of like just despicable from the people that, especially when it's like you see the ones that do this the most are the ones that are probably, from a logical aspect, are probably the ones that should do it the least. Like the cult has done XYZ to you. Like they kicked you out, they embarrassed you, they probably issued memos about you and all types of different things. Then the first chance you get to to grovel and get on, crawl and kiss their feet, you like take it at the expense of all the people that, while they were doing that to you, they were supporting you, they were helping you, all these different things, but you'll just throw them down the river, just like, oh, I'm back in, I'm back on it. And then how long does this last? Like, it's funny because so when the situation happened with me, right, and then my ex, right, we got the forced divorces, separated. These people came out the woodworks to show all this, like they call it love bombing, right? They're showing my ex all the support, like we were down, and my children, because they were like trying to alienate them against me, right? They gave her money to get an apartment, get a house. There was family members that even when we were in the cult never visited, but then they were like visiting like every day to go like reinforce, like, no, you're good. It's good that you're making this decision. What happened? Year later, nobody's around. She can't afford the apartment no more. Has to go move in subsidized apartment, i.e. the projects, and no one's there to support. No one's there to help. Right? Went out. My daughter graduated high school right around that same time. Had her graduation. I went to the graduation. I was the odd man out because all these Jamatis were there. Everybody's showing support. Fast forward a few years later, my daughter's getting married. Nobody's there. Nobody's there, right? Because they don't care anymore. Like we got the use out of you that we needed, right? We got to turn your family against your husband because he left the Jamaat, but now we don't need you. And that plays out time and time and time again, right? And it's really sad that people can't recognize that. And this is, if you just pay attention, this stuff is all repeatable. It happens in cults. It happens in narcissistic people, right? It's the same method. We talk about this all the time. They're running the same play over and over and over and over,
Yeah, and it's really just a matter of African Americans, yes, because we have this issue, and the cult. Let's be honest, the cult is 99.999%. I mean, who else? Matthew Gardner, and who else is not black in the cult? Is the TMA. But it's mostly black people. And the thing is, until African Americans in general, and specifically TMOA, the people who still are somehow attached to TMOA or affected by TMOA or being abused by TMOA, however you want to look at it, until they start operating from a place where I'm going to make sure that my actions are not just going to be for self my self-benefit or self-preservation. You have to really look beyond that. This is the difference between us and every other ethnicity, every other group, every other demographic of people, is they all have at some level, they think about not just themselves. They think about my actions. What am I going to do? Whether it's where I move, what type of jobs I take, what type of professions I get into, whatever I do, how is this going to affect my family? But before that, how is this going to position myself within the community and the family and the tribe that I'm in? And how is it going to help them? Is what I'm doing going to make my father and my mother look bad? Is it going to negatively reflect on my siblings, on my people, my forefathers? This is built in to where they have a built-in system to where no one would show their face if they were known as someone who abandoned their father. Like they would not be able to show up around everyone else. We were like, you're the dude who disowned his father. You're the person who is not loyal to his father. If you cannot be trusted to be loyal to your father, you can't be trusted to be loyal to anyone. It's like, this is the type of things that they run off of. And it's like, even when they have the flaws, even when your family has the flaws or whatever, they understand that, everybody's not perfect, but they know there's a certain line to where they themselves won't even ask another person to forsake their brother, their sibling, their shaqiq, the person who was born from the same womb as their mother. They shared the same womb. They wouldn't even say that because they know that makes them look like a snake. It's like a person saying, hey man, cheat on your wife or something like that, or let's steal or let's rob or something. Is a type of person that would incite you to do that type of thing. So the same thing is, there's a type of person that's going to be okay with being a friend of yours, being a partner of yours, being a someone in a group with you. If you're the type of person that will abandon their family, abandon their friends, abandon ties of kinship and loyalty that you've built up over the years, they don't associate with those type of people. So even if a person has some weaknesses, the group forces them to have that loyalty, that family loyalty. And even Islam does too. But even if you just separate and just say this type of people, everyone else has that, to where there's some sort of pride in you being a person who's loyal to those people who supported you, who were there with you as you came up, family members, friends, and those type of people. And for whatever reason, we don't have that. But that's something that the people who listen to this show, and the people who are affected by TMOA, the people who are still in, the people who are out, they really have to start operating like that and look at it like, I myself might survive. And this is another thing. I know this is what I'm not about, but I just have to say this. This is where it comes down to some of these people who they're in a position where they're cool, they're good, maybe they're not affected by the cult, maybe they're outside of the cult, and because of the mentality of I'm okay. You can have all types of people being abused in the cult. They're still stuck. They need someone to speak up for them. But because they're cool, they're like, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And where it's like for other groups and ethnicities and families and people, they would never stand for it. If their mother or father was being abused, they're getting after you until it's done, type of situation. But for us, we're okay. We're okay with seeing our friends and family members stuck, abused, and following shirk and all these different things. It's like, it's terrible, but I'm good. Back to Netflix type of situation. We got to get away from that mentality.
I think that's the thing too. I think African Americans have been so like awkwardly conditioned, where like we have this internal belief where, okay, I was able to pull myself up from my own bootstraps and get to where I'm at. So therefore, if I did it, you can too. Where every situation is different. Everyone has their own experiences and different challenges that they face and what they're going through. So for people that have that mindset, it's weird because like being black, you kind of have to have like the whole crab and barrel mentality. People just keep pulling each other down. So you get out, it's like, fine, I'm free. All right, I had all you Negroes trying to pull at my heels. Y'all were freaking slandering whatever I was trying to do. Y'all were talking bad about me. And I escaped, right? And oftentimes, sadly enough, you do see people try to go and get back and helping people out. They get slandered even more.
Yeah.
So that's really it's really only our community, like Black community. Like you see the like freaking rappers or athletes, they go and host like charity events and it's getting shot up. Like so it's such a weird dynamic because other communities, like if you're a Pakistani, you go freaking Pakistan, you give them money, they love you, all right. But Black community, it's like nah, this man doing better than me, die.
I mean,
It's
how
funny.
often do we see the Black person who gets rich or whatever, and then they go back to wherever they come from and they be getting robbed. They wind up getting killed. You know, it's like they can't even like the only time that they can get away there, people genuinely love them. Like you'll see like these people from other countries, they go back to the actual hoods and places that they came up from, and the people love them. I mean, they mob them. Sometimes they have this, but Black people, nah, quickly they're getting robbed. Quickly they'll rob their own
car stolen.
So I don't know.
It's funny because I have, I grew up in Deposit, New York, which is, we were the only Black family, one of like 2 Black families in the town until like TMOA came in like the 90s. But of course, I have friends from that I grew up with, high school, elementary school, and it's funny. So one Caucasian friend, not he's not Muslim, he's Catholic and whatever. So he's my fishing buddy, but I don't see him for years. We didn't I went and moved and got married and like haven't been in town, and I tell him what happens. He's like, so do we need to drive up there and fight some people? Like right off the bat, like, you know what I mean? Like that's how certain people act when they just have an ingrained loyalty. They recognize something's wrong. They're like, all right, I got your back. You know what I mean? Whereas you look at people, especially in cult mentality, African Americans, where it's like, wait a minute, like we've lived with each other. We're kind of related to each other. We grew up to each other, and like you're that cool with just like, all right, I'm gonna go on as long as I got this cult with me. It's really sad, and it kind of boils down to. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say now I can hear the TMOA argument, the rebuttal in my head. I can hear what they're gonna say. Y'all have it wrong because actually we have that loyalty. The loyalty is the group, and everybody in the group is and was family. And that is that loyalty that we're explaining from other ethnicities and other groups. We're showing that by no matter what, we're going to stick to, and we're going to support, and we're going to be down with our group, TMOA. This is our clan. This is our tribe. This is our family, so to speak. So that's what that's the angle that they're going to be thinking. I'm sure there's some people that are thinking that right now. So what is your response or rebuttal to their response to what we were saying?
That is dumb as hell. There is an admin, right? Who doesn't live with his father. His father lives here in freaking Virginia. He lives all the way in New York, right? His father's blocked on freaking WhatsApp or his phone. No other person is checking your phone, brother. Let me like no one's going to your phone and saying, okay, let me go see if your father's blocked. So you did that of your own volition, right? Forget the freaking Cole family. That's your actual father. Like that man is responsible for you being here in this world. So what happened to Ty's family with that?
And we're from the community. We know that fake loyalty, like we're all family and community. That's bull crap. Like you take, what is it called? What is it in India and Pakistan? They have that like class system. Is it?
There's 100%.
It's the same thing as TMOA, right?
There's a caste system in Jamaica.
Yeah, a person that's like up close with the sheriff council, driving K2 around, maybe they got a seat in the back seat. They will quickly cut off their brother, father, sister, mother. If they're at the bottom rungs of TMOA, where like, they're barely paying percent, they don't come around, they will quickly cut them off. We see it happen on time. Where's the loyalty with the people that's actually still within your community? What about the division? You have people that got kicked out of your so-called loyal group simply because they liked the post of your sheikh's son and it didn't agree with your sheikh's widow. Like, there is no loyalty. You guys absolutely have no loyalty whatsoever in that group.
You know what? But they would say, but that's part of the loyalty.
Oh, he's
Is he
glitching
lagging
on
or
us.
is it me? Okay. Now, but since he's lagging, let me just piggyback off of y'all first point about the caste system. I was explaining this to my wife about how listen, Image and my I was like Team Royal Royalty. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand. If you join back, like I was
you were born and given like acres and acres of land.
yeah, like I was born with like 40 acres and a mule in Image my terms. So it's like
Yeah.
Oh my god, like
yeah, and like
just...
that's the problem that they have, where they think it's that loyalty, but when there's real loyalty, right? You actually want the best for these people that you're loyal to. So say, for instance, they say our loyalties to the group, right? Our community or whatever. Then when members of your community start leaving and you believe this community is best for them, you would be actively trying to advise them, bring them back into the fold of the cult or the community or whatever. You don't do that. You cut them off. You don't give them some land, right? Because that's really what loyalty is, especially Islamic loyalty, right? We have a system of what's priority as far as our loyalties. Our first loyalties to Allah. Our next loyalties to Rasulullah. Our next loyalty is to those that are in authority above us, which are like the scholars and the imams, right? Rightfully selected imams. And then to Muslim Ummah in large. And in that Muslim Ummah in large, there's another hierarchy. And we can pull up ayats like the first hierarchy is then like to your family. And even in your family, there's a hierarchy, right? We can keep going and going. You guys skip all of that and put your loyalty to something that is lower on those priorities. You know, all for what? It's not for Allah's sake, because Allah clearly tells you what you should and shouldn't be doing, and who your loyalty should be, and what your priorities should be.
So what you're gonna have now is, I think I got my internet just crashed out of nowhere anyway, but I think I get the gist of what you're saying. And so basically, you have, there's a hierarchy of loyalties in which you have to stick to. It's like basically like how we say, like when you line up for Salah, you start from the middle and then you spread out. And so, but the anchor is the imam or whoever's leading the Salah is where you base how you're going to position yourself after that. So how you know how far you are off of where you should be is you look at the imam. So in Islam, you have a certain hierarchy where your loyalty should be. Allah comes first, so forth and so on. In the family, your loyalty is somewhere, and then everything else spreads out after that. So your own brother is going to come before your cousin. Your parents are going to come before your siblings, and everything is going to kind of stack from there. So what the person who may be looking at is, they're like, okay, so how could they balance this loyalty that they should have versus where they have real genuine feelings and camaraderie and love for, just like the brother who went to the basketball tournament. I don't know if you have mentioned him yet or not, but there's something real there. So how does a person balance? Should a person who's in TMRA right now just throw their hands up? Because you have a situation where a person could try to reattach those loyalties. For instance, I'm gonna mention the brother who excommunicated or blocked his father. What will happen immediately? And let's be honest, if that man unblocks his father and like takes a picture hand in hand with his father hugging his dad and puts it on his WhatsApp status, he'll be thrown out of Jamaat before the sun sets. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah,
he's gonna be thrown out of Jamaat before the sun sets. So then he has wife, he has kids, he has another set of loyalties, of connections, of ties that are still there. So it's what does a person do there? Because it seems simple on paper, but in real life it's a little different.
Yeah, that part does get tricky, because when you have these people that are sincerely believing in all this falsehood, but again, the answer is always back to the Quran and the Sunnah. So it's like, okay, ask yourself, what are you cut it. What is causing the separation between you and this whoever it is that has more of a right to your loyalty than someone else? Ask yourself, what is that connection? Okay, so the one brother, we'll use him as the case study. He's cutting off his father because his father does not agree with his sheikh, right?
Mm.
So then you gotta ask the next question is, what is it that he doesn't agree about? And it all really goes back to the Quran and Sunnah. And if you'll find that if he actually did that, he'll say, oh, you know what? My father is correct. Or worst case scenario, which we know his father's correct. We know Jelani's a fraud. We know they're not practicing Islam, bid'ah, shirk, and all. We don't have to repeat that, right? Let's say let's say a hypothetical where you have I was studying under a new sheikh, and my new sheikh says that I should, say Ameen aloud, right? My father is saying, no, say it quietly. They have a disagreement, and there's a valid disagreement, right? Should that be something that I cut my father off? Worst case scenario, there's a valid disagreement. No, there shouldn't be. Because then the one that is like saying, if the sheikh is now saying, yeah, you should stop talking to your father, then that's where you're like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, now you stepped out of bounds. I'm going to leave you because obviously you're not guiding me correctly because you're telling me to cut ties simply because you and my father disagree on something that's a valid disagreement. Simple. Like we look at the Sahabas, they disagreed on stuff. Did that affect their loyalties to anybody? No. Abu Bakr, Ali, they had disagreements. Abu Bakr and Umar had disagreements. But that's where the cult part comes in because the cult says you can't even disagree with our leader, our sheikh. If you disagree, that's the line that we draw in the sand, and we have to cut you off.
Yeah, and so it's basically the cult can only survive if every single person thinks and acts exactly the same. If you're not robots, if you are able to actually think independently, disagree here or there, then you are clearly in a cult. It cannot survive without it. And you really have to think about it like this. When we talk about these loyalties, right? You can be loyal and have love and camaraderie and some connections to various different people or organizations or groups. As Jafar said, there's a hierarchy, and there's a law comes first, the messenger, your parents, and there's a clear hierarchy there where you should any and every time you prioritize something that's less of a priority on that hierarchy, something lower on the hierarchy, the harms will be worse. For instance, like what happens just yesterday, it was interesting. Someone had got at work, someone's foot was cut off. And I always look at these people who get their legs cut off and they get parts of their body just removed, right? So this guy gets his leg cut off from below the knee. So of course the person wants to keep their foot, but the priority is your vital organs, the organs that are closer to your heart and that go out from there, the brain. These are more vital. What would happen is either the infection that's in his foot is going to spread to other parts of the body, cause a problem or issue in the brain. Some of the clots that might be there could cause an issue in the brain and the neurological system. So the loyalty, of course, yeah, you have some loyalty and love for your lower limbs, for your feet or whatever, but it can't supersede what's more and higher on the list, higher in the hierarchy of things. So when a person is going to, so if a person were to say, no, I'm not going to remove my foot. And we have people that say, no, I won't let you cut my foot off. No, I refuse. And they die. They die. Eventually they die. And this is the same thing when a person is going to prioritize their something that's lower on the hierarchy than what's higher. You cut your father off, look at the consequences. The consequences, Allah says, is going to punish that person. You'll be punished. A person can go to hell. They can go to Jahannam for dishonoring and disobeying and doing and cutting their family off, especially their mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the benefit? You get, even if your sheikh was some great knowledgeable person and he actually was providing some sort of benefit, okay, you learn some Islam from him. That's a benefit. But you learning some Islam from him, which there's thousands, if not millions of shuyukh in the world who you can learn Islam from,
Yeah.
but you only have one parent. That's the priority. That's the hierarchy. If you cut that off for something that there's abundance of, the harm is far greater for cutting off someone that's higher on the hierarchy, the priority list. And this is what regularly TMOA has done. So what happens is, as a result, you have people who have been extremely loyal to the cult, yet they can't get their bills paid. They can't depend on now these family members who they have. Sometimes these people have 10 brothers and sisters or whatever, but maybe they don't even, they're not able to even depend on them. They're in the same city, but they can't even come and spend the night. They're not, they can't do normal things that family do because they have prioritized a cult, which is not going to come and just let you, my brother can come and show up at my house and, he can sleep on the couch for a week. I'm not gonna bother him, but you go try to sleep on someone in the cult's house for a week.
That's a good point, because loyalty really shows itself when
times are tough.
When times are tough, where a person that's not loyalty would be like, man, I'm not doing that for you. I don't even know you, right? But a loyal person would be like, yeah, even if you have a problem, like for instance, brothers, we all have brothers. Brothers argue, tough, hard. Sometimes we hate each other. But if your brother broke down the street and called you for a ride, you'd be pissed off, drive down there, probably get an argument way back, but you still go pick him up, give him a ride, give him a place to sleep on your couch and all that. What happens to like individuals like that are caliphas that were here from day one, that sacrificed their lives to build these lands and do all these different things for the Jamaat, and in their end times they have a little disagreement with their sheikh, and they can't even be buried on the properties that they are the ones that actually built and brought up? Like, how? That's not loyalty. That's not loyalty to saying, like, you know what? I know we had a disagreement, but you did a lot for us as a leader in the community. Of course, we're going to honor you. Of course, we're going to respect you, right? Loyalty isn't when time gets rough. Oh, these Islamophobes are on us. They found the secret connection between TMOA and MOA and El Fukra. Oh my gosh. You know what? That brother that's dead in the grave, let's pin it on him. I'm going to trample his grave. I'm going to take his headstone off and put Devil of Islamberg on it. That's not loyalty.
Wow. Now look, if we flip that on his head, some of these people who were khalifas and they were administrators and they went all over the world, traveled continents for the sake of the Jamaat and their sheikh and all these things. Imagine if they spent that much effort and energy and loyalty for their children. Do you think their children would have ever allowed their father to be disrespected in that way? You see, the thing is that would have come back, and I don't want to disparage anyone who has passed away in this type of thing. That's not even my point. But the thing is, you spend the most energy and resources on those things that are most important. The most important people to you, as far as loyalty is concerned, is your mother, father, and then those people are closer to you, and then it spreads out from there. Of course, after that, there are people who are not related to me at all, and I can say I love them just as much as my own blood brothers, and even some of my own blood brothers, I love people that are not my blood brothers more than them. But still, there is a certain amount of responsibility and a line that I can't cross as far as with my own brother, as opposed to someone who's not. And so, but these things you have to keep putting that energy and resources and time and loyalty into those people who, when you're at your lowest moment, when you're at your toughest moment, they're obligated to come through for you. Your parents are obligated to come through for you to a certain extent, and you for them. So these people who wound up being disgraced later on in their life, I think that had they been putting that same sort of energy, traveling continents and willing to move mountains for their children, then their children would have should have reciprocated that and been willing to do anything, even up until them being killed, for them not to have their father to be dishonored and disrespected and disgraced in that way. I mean, these people had children. I mean, quite a few of them. But and children, and not only children, but grandchildren and great grandchildren. Some of them. I mean, they wouldn't have stood for it if that effort that they put for their sheikh and for their community, for the Jamaat, for the cult, was put into them. I don't think it would have been that way, but Allah knows best.
And you know, you touched on a very important point. We can kind of use it to segue about talk about the other thing is that all these like loyalty, and this is we talk about more of this stuff inshallah in the future, but loyalty is actually a part of like manhood. It's a masculine like trait in essence, right? Because loyalty, like like you said, it makes you go out of your way to do the right thing, even when like it's gonna hurt. It may hurt you. It may bring some kind of uncomfortableness or something to you. But your loyalty, your dedication to stuff, like it's about dedication. It's about honor. This is all stuff that like makes you a man. And when you're in a cult system and they take these things from you, we talk about it all the time. It emasculates you. It takes your courage away. It makes you a coward. And we see it play out time and time and time again. PMOA are a bunch of cowards. Yeah, they may go sneak in to a Indian community center dressed as a female and drop off bombs and try to run away. But I guarantee you, none of them would have went to like the leader of that Indian community and threw hands with them. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like we had the situation just recently where a brother, Hussein Haq, he was on the show, said, I'm going to go to the land and I'm going to record to see what it looks like. Right? Very simple enough. Wasn't trying to cause any trouble or anything. He said, I'm going to go to the land and record and see what it looks like because I haven't been there in a while. Right? And he said, I know they're not going to stop me. They're not going to do anything because they're cowards. And as a man of his word, a man that's loyal, a man that's dedicated, a man that has honor, he said, oh, I said I was going to do it. I'm going to go do it. And so he did. What do these cowards do? What do these cowards do? He goes up there, drives up there. They address him. They ask him to leave. He leaves. Very simple. Very, very routine. Wasn't even nothing big. These people called the cops, right? Forced the cops to they press charges of trespassing on him.
Criminal trespassing
right?
too. Yeah.
And then, right, like they're so afraid of him. All these people were up there. Then we hear like, oh, like they're having little meetings. They're talking about, yeah, we're going to get at him. We're going to murk him. We're going to kill him. We're going to jump him. We're going to beat him up. Why didn't you do that when he was there? He's lived in the same house for how many decades now?
Like 20 years now at this point. Who's had?
I mean, they have known where this man has lived since he moved there. It's been at least over a decade, right? They know exactly where he's at. They know exactly what he has been saying. He was one of the first people that actually came on the show and laid out his whole, thoughts and his displeasure with the community and everything. Disavowed himself from being part of them and all that. So it's not like he's been, they haven't known how to find him or reach him. I mean, so now all of a sudden, okay, number one, let's just break this thing down. Number one, he told them he was coming up there. He went up there. Y'all don't even have, I mean, he just rode up there. It's not like he didn't jump a fence. He did not like, nothing was damaged. No one was harmed. I mean, absolutely nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay, so that's number one. Absolutely nothing happened.
Perspective. Literally, it's like someone came in your driveway to turn around and go the opposite direction.
Exactly. And you called the cops.
Yeah.
And you called the cops.
A U-turn.
Okay, so that's the one thing. So that's cowardly move number one. I mean, I can see. Listen, and we're not going to disparage the ladies, but I could see a lady who was unhinged do something like that. Like she just spazzed and called the cops. Like can't like you see like sometimes white people they like white lady called the cops. Why did you call the cops, lady? Well, he just looked. I just felt a certain way. There's nothing there. So he came up there. You spazzed and called the cops. That's number one cowardly move. Number two, nothing even happened. So I mean, you know how to reach him. You know where he lives. If you have any manhood, go to his house and be like, yo, you drove up here. All right. You drove up this joint, okay? You came on my property. Yeah. Yo, don't come back here anymore. We don't want you up here. I mean, just do that. Fair. I mean, a man would have done that. You know exactly where he's at. Why are you calling the cops? What do you want them to do? You want the cops to do your job? I mean, like, just go over to his house. Literally, you can hold your breath and make it to his house. you could have just went over there. But anyway, so that's cowardly move number 3. Number 4, I mean, you're getting in all of these little groups or whatever. We're going to kill him. We're going to do this. And you got a group. He's one man. He's one person. Just send one coward who's the least cowardly amongst the group of cowards over there. I mean, if that's the case, or just go take 2. Okay, 2 of y'all go. That way, at least you know, okay, well, or 3 or 4. Walk over there and talk tough or whatever. I mean, you don't even have to really be about to do nothing, but at least walk over there and talk tough.
I mean, in the store. They see him in the store and they hide and they cower and they act like they don't see it. Like it's so ridiculous.
So what exactly did you want the cops to do when you called them? Tell Hussein not to come up here no more. Why don't you tell him? Why don't you tell him?
They're scared of him, obviously, because they didn't tell him down.
What did you want? You want him to go to jail for what? For what? What did he do?
Yeah. Inciting violence.
Your little patch of land is not even secured. Anyone can drive up there and turn around. Anyone on the face of the earth can drive up there and do exactly what he did. So what are you mad at? It's like because it's him. Oh, because it's him. Yeah. Okay, tell him. And then so you want him to go to court. He trespassed on my property. Y'all could easily just drop the charge and be like, man, listen, it's nothing. It was just a misunderstanding or whatever. But you want him to be harmed in some sort of way. Cowardly move number 5. Why? You just want him to be harmed. Why? Because you're butthurt about what he said. Your butt hurt because
for the last 4 to 5 years.
Yes, and you know where he's at. So instead of just addressing what he's saying, you just want to hurt him. You don't even want to like correct what he's saying. You don't even want what he's saying to be challenged or to be corrected. You just want to hurt him. It's like, okay, you got in a fight with dude. He beat you up. And then you see his car parked at the grocery store, so you flatten the tire. Like, you're a coward, dude.
That's exactly what it is. Like, that's exactly the type of behavior this is. The dude that got beat up, so he knows he can't do nothing with you, so he starts throwing rocks at your window, scratch your car up, all these types of things. You know, and cowardly move number 6 would be is that they're actually planning to have people come to the court and like protest or like give testimonies to how scared they were because Hussein Haq came to the land and like even like, what the hell?
I mean, they're gonna show up outside the courthouse freaking signs. Who's hot? He must stop. Who's hot? He must stop.
It's gonna be so funny because inshallah, when we come down there and have our cameras ready and record all all these fools.
We're gonna record
a trespassing charge.
Trespassing. I mean, I can see if it was like something like trespassing. I mean, like people trespass. Listen, how many people have done that? Over the years, you never call the cops, and then you actually have a court date. You're taking the man to court and all this. You're wasting your time and money. You're wasting his time and money. You're doing all this for what? What do you think is going to happen? You're going to realize nothing is going to happen. Nothing actually is going to happen except for you're going to look like a coward who could not handle something very simple and something easy for even a man. Listen, it didn't matter even if it was a midget, a person with with no legs and one arm. I would respect them. Listen, if a midget with no legs and one arm wheeled himself up to my house after I trespassed on his property and said, "Yo, don't come on my property no more." I would respect it. I'd be like, "Hey,
You got me, bro. You got me. All right.
all right, you got me." I'm not even going to trip because I'm like, "Yo, hey, he's doing what he got to do." Now, if you try to fight me, that might be something else, but at least I'm going to respect the man. I'm going to respect him because he's doing what he got to do. You called the cops, and now you're going to court for them to tell him don't trespass on their property.
Could you imagine the looks on the cops' faces when they were like, "Here, it's like, so you're telling me he drove up here, and then you asked him to leave, and he did? Okay, did he like attack somebody? No. Did he like threaten y'all? No.
Actually, he did, officer.
What did he do? Nothing. He just came up here and turned around.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to press charges.
Okay. Oh, he's dangerous. This is what you're gonna say. Okay, so even if y'all go to court, what is your argument gonna be? He's dangerous. Run the tape. What did he say? What did he say? Nothing. He said y'all were cowards, which you are. You're proving it right now. I mean, the only thing that could rectify and fix this extreme cowardly move that y'all have made, to literally be like, "Yo, we dropping the charges. We're gonna go over, instead of this picket sign at the courthouse, we're gonna go over to Hussein's house, knock on his door, and tell him why we're upset with him, why we called the cops." Okay, maybe say if you do it again, but at least I would at least I would be like, all right. They said they're upset because you can be upset about someone driving on your land, but why? Well, why are you upset? Oh, people who are here to guide mankind. Oh, niggas
they're afraid of a Muslim drove on their land and they were afraid.
Yeah, not gonna do about it.
Oh, people be diligent. Oh, yo, where's the memo they sent? Hold on, we got it. Where's the memo?
Let's share that.
Oh my God, these people.
People, be diligent. Be diligent. Be diligent about what? They're like, what did y'all say? Read this, Joe.
Assalamu alaikum. Dear respected community members, all right, over the past several years, the group Return of Fitrah, R2F, has successfully stalked our community with unrelenting online attacks in an attempted smear campaign.
Like what?
Their playbook has been no different than likes of other Islamophobes like Martin Moyer and Ryan Morrow, with whom they had joined forces.
So let's stop right here. Like, first of all, whatever, you could call it a smear campaign or whatever. We've stalked y'all. Listen, we don't watch any of y'all content. Y'all watch our show. Y'all watch our shit. Right?
Because otherwise, how would they know that we're obsessively? How would they know? How would they know that we're obsessively stalking the community unless you're watching every word we say?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then we've joined forces with Martin Moyer and Ryan Morrow. Like, you see, like, if y'all idiots, y'all people in TMOA, if y'all read this and they'll be like, man, these guys is full of crap. Something's wrong with your mental. Like, really, we're working with Martin Moyer and Ryan Morrow. Like, we've joined forces.
Hold on. Even roll it. Let's roll this joint back up to the first line. Dear respected community members. Basically, I'm gonna translate this for you. Dear respected community members, who, if y'all like a post that we don't like, we're throwing y'all niggas out the Jamaat. That's really what it is. Respected community members, they don't respect you. They don't respect you because you can be literally excommunicated at the drop of a hat for clicking a like button on a video of a person who also is in the Jamaat. These niggas, these people were and actually family members of your beloved Sheikh and Morshid and all this, that, and other. Yeah. They don't respect y'all at all. So that's a lie straight up. And everything else after this is lies and cowardly rhetoric. That's all it is. Yep. Respect the community members. There's no respect there.
Yeah.
Okay. We write to inform you that a page from that playbook, criminal trespassing, has occurred on one of our properties.
Oh my God.
On August 23rd, 2023.
Hold up. Criminal trespassing. Hold up. What's the definition of criminal trespassing? Is it like, I would say it's with the intent to commit some sort of crime, right? That would be criminal trespassing. I'm not a lawyer, but
you committed a crime or you had the intent to commit a crime. So, like, I don't believe making a U-turn As far as I know, maybe VA laws are different. You know, a little down south. You know what I'm saying? But as far as I know, you can make a U-turn anywhere you want.
I mean, these are the same people. Hold up. These are the same people who their leader stood up and implored, actually basically all but said outright in plain English, I want you people sitting in this front row to go find those people. R2F, that basically he was talking, or maybe he was talking about Jafar specifically. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about you. But the point is, he was talking about our sheikhs and was wanting people to go and smack him in the face directly. And now that's criminal. Now that's conspiracy. That's inciting to violence. That's probably, you could throw the book at that nigga. I mean, you could throw the book at him for what he said. But here it is. A person told you, I'm going to come up to your property in this near future, and you're not going to do anything about it. So either they didn't watch the show, I'm sure they did, but maybe they say they didn't watch the show. But where's the criminality of it? I mean, it's like, yo, I'm going to come and visit your house next week. Now, if you would have said, don't set foot on my property, maybe, but they didn't say that. So
they did watch the show because they took screenshots of it and put it in the memo.
Hey, I was told that you're not allowed to watch the R2F show from Sheikh Noor. So whoever watched this show, Noor, do your job, kick him out of here, all right? Because watch the show.
So hold up. So basically, y'all waited till he came up there and then retroactively like figured out. So I mean, it's like, and that wouldn't make sense. I mean, how did you know that he said it on the show if you didn't either watch it? Because why would you automatically because Zay doesn't even come on all the time anyway. He doesn't come on every show. So why would you get the idea, let me find a screenshot of him saying that he's going to come on? No, y'all were watching the show, okay? Live. And y'all still didn't secure when you land, if it was worth securing or whatever. Nothing criminal happened. He didn't break in. It's wide ass open. It's wide open. I mean, there's nothing to break. You can just drive in. And the little gates y'all got, I mean, we got the footage of people jumping over y'all gates already. Don't make us show the footage of people literally just jumping. But still, it's like, I told myself I wasn't going to get too worked up about this, but seriously.
How do we take from the playbook of Martin Moyer and Ryan Morrow? Have they criminally trespassed on TMO lands? Like, this rhetoric and this propaganda is so outlandish. It's ridiculous. Finish reading this. It's
okay. Who's is so funny? But they
have the quote in there.
On August 23rd, 2023, R2F member Hussein Haq of Phoenix, VA, entered the Ahmadabad West property in Red House, Virginia.
Is that how you spell Phoenix?
Yes.
It is?
Oh, okay. Yeah. While recording on his phone. In the days leading up to August 23rd, Haq took to his R2F social media channel to boast about the crime he was about to commit, stating, I'm just going to say it right here on air, but we're just talking about masculinity. I have a mind to actually drive up to Red House land, and I'm just making it clear right now that I'm going to do that. After flagrantly
What crime?
You know what? They cut it off. They didn't say everything that he said because basically he said y'all a bunch of ninnies and y'all a bunch of There was no crime, and literally the only they cut off the part where actually was what got their feelings hurt because he basically called y'all as a crime, and y'all literally are proving him right. Y'all are proving him right by doing this. I mean, could you imagine any any group of people? You know, they used to be talking about SOA and living a lifestyle of danger and all that stuff. I mean, what type of people literally just nothing happened and you go sprinting to the cops like you're hollering for the police, filing police reports, and you're like, you take a quote from the man and the quote literally says nothing. He told you he was coming to visit you. I mean, what? You should have welcomed him.
I have a mind to actually drive up onto Red House land.
Right now,
and y'all called the cop. Oh, this is the big smoking gun. I mean, come on now.
Hold on. Let's test it. Mubarak, I have a mind to actually someday drive up to your house in Tennessee. How does that make you feel? Do you feel threatened at all?
No, I would say take a flight, but other than that, other than that, I mean, come on down. I mean, it's like, I mean, even if we was beefing, right? We got in a big argument. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm about to drive down there. You know what I'd be like? Come on, nigga. I mean, I mean, but you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to. I'm gonna pay the fine. But seriously, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll be like, all right, come on. Even if I'm like, really, in my mind, I might be like, man, Jabbar, man, he know that kung fu and stuff. He might whoop me. But in that moment, I literally have to say, okay, come on. Come on, let me know when you're coming. I'll take off work and I'll be there. This is what they should have said. Basically, when they were watching the video and so Hussein said he's going to drive up there, they should have, instead of them releasing this cowardly statement after the fact, they should have released this statement. They said, dear respected community members, let me help y'all out. Y'all should have released a statement that said, dear respected community members, Hussein Haq said he's going to come up here to visit. I want the strong men on Ahmadabad West or whatever to welcome him with a great TMOA welcome. That's what they should have said. And that would have been, that could have been code word for like, yo, handle your business or whatever. But I would have respected that. But instead, y'all wait for him to come and then leave and then call the cops. I mean, were you hiding under, were you in your closet and underneath a blanket? Like, I don't know if he's still here. I don't know if he's on the land. I don't know if he took a U-turn and then came back, but just get here quick. I mean, they literally trying to find this man. They knocking on his door and all that stuff. Like, really, what did you, I want to know who placed the call. I mean, did y'all call 911 or did y'all just call the non-emergency line? I want to know. Yo, if they called 911, we can actually get the recording. we can get it should be public record. Could you imagine like some grown ass man?
We got people here scared. We're just threatened by R2F.
The ladies are scared. The ladies are scared. My kids are scared. My wives are scared. Hell, I'm scared. I'm terrified. I mean,
look how much they tried to sell this. Like, and the thing is, it's very. Like they can't help but lie because this memo is a lie, straight up. Because anybody that like say they were in New York or Canada or wherever else that actually didn't know of this situation would think that like, yo, this dude Hussein is wild and he's up there trying to do terrorist stuff like warriors. He got attacked. They were even telling people that he planned to come to land to like assassinate Noor.
Yeah.
This is what they're telling their people.
Why? This is the thing. Why would he want to do that? I mean, what's the point? Okay, he does that. This man has, I mean, so many family members and people that are that he is supported. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a listen. They don't even know that actually. But listen, y'all ain't that important actually. The thing is, as far as you're not that important actually for us to actually want to commit a crime. Really not. I mean, it's
like the video that the brother posted where he said, the day was it? What day was it? It was, this is what basically Hussein is saying in his head. He says, on August 23rd, 2023, I came to your land, and it was the most important day for you. But to me, it was just another Tuesday. No one cares. No one cares about y'all like that. No one cares about y'all like that.
I mean, imagine. I mean, what are y'all gonna do if someone really like even the John Doggart situation? Some mentally deranged clown who could barely fight his way out of a paper bag. He wasn't gonna do nothing. Y'all standing on the steps. Oh, why do you hate us? Blah blah blah. Like a bunch of bitchs. That's really what y'all look and sound like. Now this John is even. I mean, literally, and y'all called the cops. He got a court date and everything, and y'all gonna show up at the courthouse in mass. Y'all gonna show up at the courthouse. Everybody come out. You got everybody, even the people who y'all probably threw out to Jamaat and won't even let come on the land. Probably asking me now you want them to come. Show our numbers. Let's come there. Y'all make signs. They probably, look, I guarantee you they tell them y'all make some signs and do this, that, and other, do all this to try to show, we're under attack. Y'all are niggas who y'all the people who've been
come up there. And we're at the courthouse recording them all, giving them some nice, great R2F content.
R2F live right there.
To hear the testimonies. I'm so
Yeah.
scared. Hussein
Yeah.
scared me so much.
I can't wait till when they actually asked him. So what exactly were you scared of? I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, the only thing you can say really is that I was scared of him. That's it. I mean, like he didn't come up there with any weapons. He had his family with him. Second of all, I mean, like, what is he gonna? He literally just took a drive with his family. You know,
to go commit crimes with his family.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Y'all niggas are jokes, man. Y'all are jokes. Y'all literally scared. Y'all scared of one man, and you can tell this came from the top down. I know if it was a man, like a manly man, like a masculine manly man, this would have never leaked out. This plan to call the cops or to even pursue this joint wouldn't have came. If it was me, I'd have been like, yeah, whatever. Even if an actual TMOA member, one of their goons or whatever, came up here and was like, I mean, unless if they said something, they came and turned around on my property. First of all, I would be like, yo, I would find him myself. Number one, if he was still in this city, I would go find him myself. Okay. Now, if he's known to be one of those people that was coming in people's faces and pointing guns and shooting, then yeah, I would call the cops because I'm not gonna chase him around like that. But if it's just some random person or whatever, I want to talk some, okay. Talking. If it comes to a point where you need the cops, yeah, but I mean, you called the cops after he was gone. That's the thing.
I had a clear situation just like this. There was an individual that kept coming. He was involved with one of my sisters. My sister was staying at one of my houses, and he kept coming over there. He came over once. I said, "Don't come here again." Came over twice. I said, "Don't come over again." He came over a third time. I said, "If you come over here again, I'm going to beat your ass." It's very, very simple. He came over again. I went over there, went to him, and he knew it was going down. So he actually attacked me first. Handled my business, picked him up, had my brother drive him to the hospital. Cops came. He was like, "You want to press charges for trespassing?" Nah, he good. I think he learned his lesson. Like, where? I was so scared when he was on my property. Oh my god!
I mean, what do you want him to do? Like, well, literally, what do y'all want out of it? You want him to go to jail? You want him to like die? Like, what do y'all want? You're like the person. You're like the person who gets beat up, the girl who gets beat up. So the next day at school, the girl sits behind her and then cuts her hair. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm gonna show you. You can't really do anything, so you do something that's just so sneaky and underhand, or you try to sucker punch the person or something like that. Or then, or you know what? TMOA, y'all are like the school shooter, right? School shooter is a coward. He's a punk. Gets beat up. So what do? While everybody just chilling or whatever, you come with a gun and just want to shoot random people while they can't defend themselves or something. So, or you go and you're trying to get the cops to do something that y'all couldn't even do. Newsflash, the cops are not going to do anything. It just makes you look so weak and so cowardly. And like, it's almost like, I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would think y'all had a lady imam who was who was leading y'all to do these type of things. I really would. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way that I can rationalize why. Because listen, if Hussein rolled up, on a situation where it's just a lady and maybe she was by herself, okay, maybe she called the cops. But a dude, I mean, men, were there any men there? If there was any men there, yeah, and y'all called the cops.
One individual thing, like a group of men got together, was like, yeah, we should call the cops.
Yeah, criminal trespassing.
Criminal. Like check the next section. Like check out this next section, which is like
after flagrantly trespassing on our property.
What did say?
Charlotte County Sheriff's Office filed charges against Hussein Haq, and we want you to be aware that he is currently released on summons into his next court appearance. First of all,
look at this bullcrap.
How can he be on summons? He didn't get arrested.
You can't be released on summons. A summons is when they can't actually find you, so they summon you. They can't release him on summons because they never had it. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, he didn't get booked and they took him to jail and then like he did some time and then they let him out, but they're like, oh, we're releasing you to then summon you back. That doesn't even make any sense. Released on summons until his next court appearance.
On bail. You get released on parole. You get released on probation.
I
hope one of y'all TMOA lawyers was not involved in writing this book.
Probably was, because they want to see. This is the thing. And when it says, "Dear respected community members," they don't respect you by how they wrote this. See, us, they would have never been able to send this memo to us and be like, "Yeah, what the heck? This doesn't even make a drop of sense." But they don't respect you because they think you're stupid enough to fall for this like it's something that has any meaning whatsoever. Probably some idiot in their little cult sitting there. Oh yeah, look, wow, he released him on summons. You idiot. It's nothing. It's just some mumbo jumbo that they put together because they don't respect you. They think you're idiots. And this is why they can say this type of stuff. And then you're like, oh, it's something. They would never release something as stupid as this, as weak as this, as cowardly as this to any people who they respected. Because they would know, but like, they ain't falling for this. But y'all will fall for anything. Y'all got a person who's 400 pounds talking about, he sent a memo talking about y'all should be working out. Y'all actually believe that Jelani had a personal gym in his home that he was working out every day, like Richard Simmons. It's not true.
Wait a minute. What person from that household would lead you to believe that they had a household or gym in their house? Not one person in that house. Oh yeah, they work out. The only person that looks like they worked out is, we know. I'm not gonna say. Never mind. I'll leave it. But there's only one person, and they probably did that after they got out that house. Nobody. Listen. I don't want to talk about people's weights, but none of those people are healthy. Maybe one or two, but they definitely did not have a gym in their house. They didn't have anything in there you could possibly burn any calories.
that house was strictly calorie intake.
Seriously, let's be fair. They was having sprints every day. They was sprinting to the fridge.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They had servants. They had to serve the food to them.
This is why Morsheed has been saying for years that we need home gyms. Where
was his home gym at? Show me the pictures of where his home gym was at, yo.
Okay. He had billions of dollars. He could have built the best. He could have built this most state-of-the-art gym in Pakistan with the millions of dollars that he collected from y'all. He didn't buy a treadmill from Walmart. He didn't buy a step machine. He didn't buy one of the little grip things that you do. He didn't buy none of that.
Well, y'all don't know because his gym was in the spiritual world. See, in the spiritual world, our Sheikh Jelani, he has a 6-pack. He's like Mo.
If you got a gym in the spiritual world and you still not working out, something wrong.
Yo,
if you're eating in this world and you go to the spiritual world and still eating, something wrong.
In the spiritual world, he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I got it. He was. But I mean, seriously, they have the audacity to actually tell you with a straight face that as our Morsheed instructed us to have home gyms in our home, or to everyone should have a gym. Okay, why is he instructing it? Let's be seriously. Let's get serious for a second. I mean, he's telling you that everyone should have the gyms at your own location. Why? Because he, I guess, allegedly prioritizes and think it's a priority in your life to work out and to have a gym. Why didn't he? Don't y'all get it? Y'all gotta use your brain. They're just making stuff up.
The hypocrisy never stops. Remember, this is just part of a memo where they declared going to the beach or the gym is haram. Outright haram. Even though we have pictures of Noor at the beach in her bikini when she came to visit one time. Y'all, they just tell haram. We have videos of Noor at the beach at a beach resort.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, literally, they just telling y'all anything, dear respected community members. They don't respect you. And like we started the show with, your loyalties are to people and to a group who doesn't even care about you. So what you wind up with is nothing. You wind up at the end of the day, you wind up with absolutely nothing. You don't have family, you don't have friends. All you have is a little thread that you can hang on to barely for a cult that if you click the wrong button, you could be thrown out. Don't pay enough money, you could be thrown out. Disagree or agree with people who also in administration. Disagree with the wrong administration. Agree with the wrong administration, you'll be thrown out. I mean, dear respected community members, far from it. Far from it.
It's really, I really hope when they go to court, and inshallah we can organize something to be there to record this fiasco and get some people on tape and like I said, pull up all these dudes' criminal records that we see that are passing by.
It's gonna be so it's gonna backfire on it. Because can you imagine the wonderful show that we can put on with all the faces of all these cowards are gonna show up in mass, trying to and have the video of them and do the commentary of them showing up at the courthouse, what they're wearing, how they're looking, all these people for a bogus criminal trespassing claim against one man who they know where he lives. They've known where he lives for I don't know how long. They have his phone number. They have his email address. They know his parents. They know his in-laws. There's a million ways that they could have actually settled it like just respectable, self-respecting people. So for these people to show up at the courthouse claiming, because listen, what do you do it for? You do it because you want some sort of justice for what? Like something happened. Oh, did he break a fence or something? No, nothing happened. So you're literally just doing it for nothing. You're literally doing this whole thing just for a feeling. You felt afraid. Maybe. I mean, did you really? I mean, that's literally it.
It's gonna be, and I'm gonna say this right now, just because I know we'll get criticized for it. But for all the people that do show up there to, slander and attack our brother Hussein, all y'all are fair game. So we found out Fulan is there. Once we do, we're gonna know, and we're gonna bring up specific situations about how you are a coward, how you are a drug dealer, how you are a fornicator, how you are this and that, and we're gonna expose all this falsehood. But you have the nerve to show up at this guy's courthouse to try to get him arrested or something, say that he's a criminal, to say that he was a threat to y'all, when it's lies.
Some of y'all people, let's be real. Y'all not gonna show up and really say your name because some of y'all probably got warrants anyway. Y'all probably should. Some of y'all probably should stay as far from the courthouse as y'all can because y'all already know the cops probably looking for you. Y'all the ones probably released on summons. I mean, it ain't Hussein. Nigga jumped bail and never came back. But they're dumb enough. They're dumb enough to actually be on the run. Probably jump bail and then for Noor, for the love of Noor, for the loyalty of her eminence. I mean, Noor, we're gonna show up and then wind up being arrested. You're gonna get booked and taken to jail for nothing.
This is their MO. So my brother Abdul Kawi, when he first got kicked out, and he wasn't completely off the juice yet, he went to the land. Right, he went to the land. He wanted to go speak to Sultan to talk about the situation, whatever. Went to the land, drove right up there, walked right up there. There was no gate. Went to Sultan's house, knocked on the door, wasn't there. He even went down, sat down, and started doing security. Wrote his name in the logbook and everything. Then they find out he's there. Then they tell him he got to leave. He leaves, and what do they do after he leaves? Then they call the cops on him.
Wow.
He was literally right there with them. Cops, state troopers comes like, hey, he's walking in town with his kids or something like that. And then cops pull up like, oh, you heard you were trespassing and this and that. Like, this is so silly. Like, it's really childish. It's very feminine. And I don't want to insult women to say this is feminine. This is beyond feminine. This is just straight cowardly because most women wouldn't even do this. They'd be like, oh yeah, nothing happened, whatever, we'll just leave him alone. This is some real low bottom of the barrel, crackhead, grimy, that type of stuff. That's the type of level it's on. You can't even say it's as feminine characteristics. It's not. It's
an insult. It's an insult to women to call this a womanly thing to do. Women won't even do this. This is just some These are just some kitty cats, basically. Like, he's
Yeah.
they just
Well,
they're just very very
someone
weak.
said this
Very
is like basically a Karen move. A Karen.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what they
yeah,
say
yeah,
is a
yeah.
Karen.
It's worse
This is
than a
what it is,
Karen
straight
though.
up.
It's worse than a
Yeah.
Karen because a Karen at least call the cops in your face. Like the
Right in
Karen
your
is like
face.
right there,
Yep.
and the Karen will like be blocking your way and be like, "You're not gonna leave until the cops get here."
Yep.
These niggas just like a Karen is more brave than them. You know, them Karens be blocking the way, and they be like, they're getting there, and they'll even like grab your shirt and stuff. I mean, the Karen might actually throw some hands at least a little bit. I mean,
We'll call this a K2 then.
Subhanallah.
Oh my God.
Subhanallah.
Look at
So
they went from let's smack these people in the face to let's call the cops on them and say they're trespassing.
yeah, criminal trespassing for making a U-turn. I mean, he told you he
But
was
you
coming.
know, this is what like you read the bottom here. It says the safety and security of our families is our top priority, and thus we assure you we will pursue every legal means to confront this vicious threat. We'll keep you informed every step of the way.
A vicious threat.
Vicious
I mean,
threat.
what
Safety
was
and
vicious?
security.
What was vicious? It was so vicious. The threat was so vicious that they cut off the quote. They didn't even quote the man the whole way. I mean, he literally he just blasted y'all. That's all it was. I mean, but it was so vicious that they didn't even tell the community what it was. They didn't even have the respect for y'all people. They actually tell you what he said. I mean, y'all can go back and watch the show and see. I mean, it was vicious, but not vicious in a way that it was going to cause some harm. It was vicious because he basically called y'all for what y'all actually what y'all are, and y'all literally are proving him right. Y'all proved him right.
Yep, exactly. And like this is just for y'all to know. This is what cults do. This is what narcissists do. This is what every abusive person or system or community does all the time. And you have an acronym for it. It's called DARVO, right? And it's the D stands for first. Whenever they wrong somebody, first they deny it actually happened, right? They just straight up deny it didn't happen, ignore it, and it comes. You see that happen. We never did anything wrong, right? Then the next thing they do is they attack, and this is where you have like the voice notes of, yeah, we're gonna slap them in their faces. This front line range. I ain't about being quiet. I ain't about being silent. We should be smacking them in the faces. You bitch ass nigga. Anyway, they should the RBO. Then they reverse the victim and the offender. So they're the original offender. They're the ones kicking people out. They're the ones threatening people. My brother, the same one that they trespassed on, someone came to his house with his wife, with not his wife, his kids were in the house, came to his house with a gun, saying, I'm gonna shoot you in your face. What'd they do? They started blaming my brother for pressing charges on him. You called the cops on my brother and Hussein for trespassing, but a dude from your community came to someone's house with a gun, planning to shoot them in the face, and you saying that it was wrong to call the cops for that. Right? So they reverse the victim and offender. They start playing victim. Oh, it's such a threat. I'm so scared. They're coming to attack me. They're terrorists. You know, I'm wondering if the court cameras are going to see someone limping to the steps with an envelope, put it in there. And
Yo, we're gonna have the cameras. We're gonna have the cameras rolling. We looking at we checking for any wooden legs, any peg legs, anybody.
Oh, don't get a march going because we're gonna find you, brother.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna find you limping in the line marching against Hussein. That's the dude. That's it. Oh my god. He better not show up.
Yeah, so y'all really should think twice. I mean, I hope that every single person from the community shows up. I mean, that's going to be a better show for us, more footage for us, more people that go. There's probably 50% of them are probably well acquainted with the courthouse anyway. They've probably been booked there multiple times anyway. So they definitely
this way.
They definitely know the way. They definitely know the way. So get ready. Let's go to the courthouse. I'm gonna put it in my GPS. Now don't worry about it. I know the way. I got it. I already know. Got it like the back of my hand. Yeah, the first
appointment at 3.
Yeah, first name basis with the cops and everything. Hey Jeff, yeah,
Back again, huh?
yeah,
Oh,
back.
man.
Are you back? You know? Oh no, not for me. uh, I'm here
Oh
to
man.
I'm here to protest against criminal trespassing. I mean, can you even say that with a straight face? Like criminal trespassing? I mean, it's like trespassing is like I mean, it's a weak way to go anyway. It's like, okay, trespass. He usually people like they say, oh, well, this is trespassing if you cut through someone's property, like instead of going around, you
Yeah.
cut through or whatever. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's not even like, okay, burglary, breaking and entering, like it's
Yeah.
trespassing. It's so weak. Like, even if he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna drive to your land and do donuts. It's just weak, man. Y'all really y'all reach new lows every week or
How about
every
we
time
do
y'all do something worse and worse.
you know they do like you get in a court and they do like like you do like like a offer and make deals whatever. So let's do this deal. Hussein has some skill in construction. He's also like he has some experience with working out, getting in shape. Hussein can help consult y'all on building y'all land gym, and y'all just drop the charges.
They call it
How about that?
the
Community service.
Mubarak the Mubarak Jelani the Mubarak Jelani home gym or land gym or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You can name it after him.
It'll be a
Even though
kitchen, but
yeah.
it won't be.
Yo, I'm about to build a gym with our Morshid Camille and his inspiration in mind. That joint's gonna be a barbecue. Joint's gonna be
It's gonna have industrial deep fryers, giant walk-in cooler, freezer. That joint gonna look like Hell's Kitchen.
Oh man, I don't even know what you thought
Oh,
right, G man. You know what, man? Oh wow, I was talking to one of my brothers I hadn't seen in a while, man. He said, man, I've been watching. He said, man, Abu put me up on your little podcast or whatever, and I've been watching it, but man, a lot of stuff you say is right, but the one thing I don't like, man, is y'all just be laughing so much, man. Like
Oh, it's not another one, bro. Not another one of that.
he ain't gonna like this show.
That's what we do, Cam. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro.
This is what we do, bro. We laugh.
We do good most of the time, but
yeah, no,
sometimes
this one I already warned you. I said, listen, this one, man, it's just there's no way we could take this one seriously. Whether it's the Jim Jones, this, that, going trust, whatever, releasing the summons and whatever else they're doing, man, these Jones is just it can't be taken seriously. They really have to be. They really need to feel like, wow, we are some real cowardly dudes if we're really doing this. You gotta wake them up. If we just like be all proper and everything, they might feel like, okay, we should be taken seriously. No, y'all should not even be taken seriously. Anyone who is seriously down with this joint, really feeling like, oh, we're under attack. Y'all really think y'all under attack? Hussein don't know where the land is. He attacked you with his family in the car. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. Y'all know it's weak. Y'all know it in the bottom of your heart. You know this joint is weak, and that's why seriously. Y'all probably laughing too, like, yeah, we shouldn't even take this joint seriously. I know there's some dudes that's like, yeah, this joint is weak, man. This joint is really weak. Y'all know, y'all agree. It's not time. Just speak up and just say it. Just say it out loud. Maybe they'll reverse course. But until y'all, as long as y'all keep doing this type of stuff, y'all gonna keep getting clowned. I mean, if it ain't us, someone else is gonna do it. So you might as well just get used to it.
You know, when like you're a kid, right? And there's a certain point, like your parents, especially like Abu's, they may be telling you a story and it sounds all really good when you're a kid, right? Like, yeah, I had to walk 5 miles to school uphill both ways. And as a kid, you're like, dang, man, that's a long way. But by the time you get a certain age and they say that story, and you're like, Abu. And they know the gig is up. Like, yeah, I gotta stop telling that story. They still telling y'all these same kitty ass stories, and y'all are still like, oh yeah, right. It was a threat, and like, oh my, he's released on summons. Oh, they're gonna do everything within their power to see these charges through. Like,
and protect the community. Y'all people, they don't even trust you. they were confiscating your phones for you to attend a meeting. They're keeping themselves. This is themselves keeping themselves safe, maybe not you. They don't even trust you. I mean, you're basically. We went over it before.
An NDL. You have to
Yeah,
sign or NDA.
NDA,
You
yeah.
have to sign an NDA.
I mean,
Dear respected community members, that we had to make you sign legal documents that you could never speak out against us. We respect you so much.
Yeah. Criminal trespassing, subhanallah.
Oh.
But yeah, so
Anyway.
the thing is, as we started with, man, definitely look at the hierarchy of where your loyalty should be, and make sure that you're not prioritizing something that's lower on the scale and lower in the hierarchy than above things that are higher, because it will have devastating repercussions in the next life and in this life as well. So be very careful with that. It's not worth it for you to abandon those people and those things that are most important. For those things are not actually important, even if it makes you feel a certain way. The feelings that you get should not supersede the things that Allah has laid out for us, where our loyalty should lie, and they have a clear they have clear levels, and we should stick to them so that we don't wind up harming ourselves. These things are put in place so that we can, when our feelings get in the way, we feel a certain way, then we revert back to, okay, where should my loyalty be? And then you stick, and then you put your loyalty there so that it will protect you in the long run. But if you don't do that, then harm will surely come. If not in this life, then in this life and in the next.
Yeah. On that, I think we're ready to close it out. We went over a little bit, but who's going to close this out? If you have any questions, email us, message us on WhatsApp. I don't think there should be any questions
put in the comments
regarding this show, but we will be updating everybody on the trial of the century. This joke will be on Hulu and Netflix, like the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
R2F live from the courthouse. Overcomplicated.
October 6th. Be there.
Be there, be square. All right.
We should go out there and pick it and get a sign that says, "We need gyms. We need gyms."
curling them donuts, man. Okay. All right. We're done. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala mursalin alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I have breaking news. Breaking news. Ahut Lava Khan is in Pakistan. Ahut Lava Khan is in Pakistan. And they released someone on summons. So